again, everyone, it's Annette Green. If you are here for the first time, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. Thank you for following along and subscribing. Today I'm talking about planners, the Elizabeth Craft Design planners in particular. And I've been getting some requests about how are different ways you can decorate the actual planner covers. I've done a few things and I'm going to try a few things today. So I'll just show you a few that I have done. One of the first ones I did was this small Sidekick size planner cover, and this was something we did at one of my retreats. We simply used stencils and archival inks. So if you don't know what those are, we had these little minis that we were working with. So we just used a mermaid lagoon, faded jeans, and we stamped some things as well, and then we used the black for some of the other stamping here, the starfish. I mean, it's as simple as that, but it needs to be archival. I personally have not used StazOn. That's a possibility. I don't really want to experiment now to tell you if that works or not. I just know that archival works very, very well, and it dries quickly, and StazOn takes a little bit of time to dry. So there is one thing you can do. Another is you can put some fabric on the cover. This was the small TN in just the plain black. It was very flat black. And so we dressed up the inside and outside. This was also a retreat project this past year. This is fabric, just glued. It's got pinking sheared edges on the outside. And here as well, we honestly just used glue stick. Everyone in the class got an Elmer's Extreme glue stick, and it worked beautifully. It doesn't show through, it doesn't soak through, and it just works wonderfully. So we did that. We even adhered these pieces with the same glue, and if we needed a stronger hold, like some of these chipboard elements, then we used like a liquid glue, depending on the person and what they brought. But I like 3-in-1 by Beacon. That seems to do the job rather well. So there's another idea, and as you can see on the inside, we did add like a little ephemera pieces, and we glued paper into this pocket here. Same over here. And I also did a small black TN like this for my friend Ginger, so I don't have it anymore. I will pop a few pictures up of that now. And as you could see, that one had lace and ribbon and stenciling and texture paste and all kinds of things to it. And I will put a link to that video below because I did show how that I made that. I talked about that. Okay, another one that I have done, this was another TN by Elizabeth Craft Designs. It was the jean pocket one in the very small size. And we did some die cutting of elements from Elizabeth Crafts, like this here lighthouse and the waves, and then the rest of this is graphic 45 like journaling cards that we just glued into the pockets there, and glued all these elements down with some good strong glue. Again, I probably used this just to make sure it stayed forever and really well. And on the inside we created a little pocket here and glued these elements in here. And so far, I mean, there's been a lot of handling of this one. So far everything has held rather well. If you want to see a video on this one, I will put that link below as well. That one is Catch of the Day papers from Graphic 45. All right, so for today, I think what I want to try is two different things. So this is my regular like daytime planner that you have seen before. I will put a link to this one as well. This is my 2022 planner. It's got a lot of papers from 49 and Market, and then of course my printables that are in my Etsy shop for all the planner stuff. But on the cover of this one, this is the Desert Sand full-size planner, and it's got this wonderful texture, and I never would dream of covering that up. I like it just the way that it is, but I was thinking about some printable like digitals that I have purchased before, and how maybe one on the front of this would be nice and it wouldn't take away too much from this beautiful texture that's on here. So I went in and I found my Woodland Wonders book plates from the Graphics Fairy. I have a premium membership. I pay one time per year, and I have unlimited access to all these beautiful images anytime I want. And so these are some of those, and this is a printable, and they call these the book plates. Now normally you would put book plates on the inside of a book, but I'm going to put it right on the cover. And the hardest part of this is just deciding which one of these I want to use. I have printed them on my Canon printer onto matte photo paper. And oh, I love this one. It's very pretty. I might pick that one. So I am going to cut that out, and rather than just stick it on there just plain like that, I believe I'd like to add a little bit of fabric around the outside of that. So it won't be too much different than this one, but we're going to give that a try. So we'll do that first. All right, I have cut that out, and now I am just grabbing some fabric. I love to buy these charm packs, they call them. I think they call them that, or layer cakes. I don't know. Layer cake, 10-inch squares. And so this is one whole layer cake combination here, and then I have a scrap of it here. This is from a different company, and I'm just trying to decide what's going to look good. I've got the planner here, I've got the fabric here, and I'm trying to tie it all in together. So I think the green is out. There's too much green in here. This is much too busy. What I kind of flipped through to was this one. Cut my fabric out a little bit larger, and rather than just sticking this down like this one was, which is fine, it keeps it nice and flat, I think I want to do a little something like this that I did on the front of a journal before. And if you look closely, you'll see there is a layer of batting in here and a little rickrack cut edge, and then paper was sewn to the top of that. So I think I want to do something like this. This was my ABC primer kind of junk journal project that I taught, and so I'm going to mimic that kind of cover on this one. Okay, and so I stitched through all the layers on the paper first, and then I did an equal distance stitching all the way around on the fabric through the layers. So there are two little stitch borders going on there, and now I just want to trim, and I think I want to do the pinking shear thing again because I think that looks cute. I'm going to stay about 1/4 of an inch away and just take my time. And before I put it on my front of my journal, I'm just going to actually ink the fabric and the edges of that batting just to kind of distress it a little further, give it some age, let that kind of fray a little bit. Looks good. Okay, so one more thing I want to do, because I was sort of laying this in place on the front of my planner, and you want to be a little strategic with where it goes and how things land with this band going across the front. And I want to make sure that that strap goes right about there. So I'm going to position that there, and you might think, oh, that's really up high, but that's fine with me because I think I want to also put the year on here. This is 2022, so I'll have to, these are the dies from Elizabeth Crafts. This is the number 1915 large number die set. So I think I want to do that to label this. It's awfully big, so we'll see how it looks. It just might be too big of a scale for me with this big thing on the cover. Let me just go die cut out what I want, and we'll take a peek at that. I had an idea. One of the other printables in the same Woodland Wonders collection was just this beautiful, like, dense woods scene, and I thought that would be pretty cool to actually cut out my numbers from. You may not know that's what it is, you know, this scene when it's all cut out, but let's see how it looks. So what I've done is I've cut it down a little small so that I can put some Elizabeth Craft Designs double-sided adhesive onto the back. I don't know if you've ever worked with these sheets. They have a lot of tape rolls and things, but the sheets are really nice for larger things like this. So you basically peel up that brown, stick down this, burnish this really well, and lay my numbers on here and cut out 2022. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, you can see that's where I cut it out, and didn't even matter that one of the twos had to be cut sideways in the picture because you can't really tell when it cuts out what's going on there. You know, it's supposed to be like that, but that's okay. So they look great. I like the way that this is all going to tie together. So before I go peeling and sticking, I want to just hit these edges real quick with that same walnut stain ink. Okay, now this double-sided adhesive is pretty good and sticky. However, I've never tried to put it on a planner before, on a cover, so let's see what happens. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how that looks, and it seems to be sticking just great. So now we just need to get this on here, and I'm going to leave that there so I know the position of that strap. And then to adhere this down, this time I'm going to use Fabri-Tac by Beacon. It's really the only fabric glue that I feel, I mean, I've used very few others, so it's the one that I know always works for me. Okay, carefully, we're going to get this underneath here. And try to center it over the 2022. All right, well, I just pressed it with a dictionary, and it's been about 5 minutes, and I'm kind of pulling on it, and it seems like it's going to hold really nicely. So I'm very happy with that. Now, as that was drying, I was looking around, and I had these epoxy kind of they call them wishing bubbles and trinkets. This is also from 49 and Market. It matches the collection that I've used here, the Hike More. And I'm looking at this word explore right here and how it almost matches this color here. And I kind of want to put that going right through the 2022. Awesome. All right, well, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Okay, so that is one way that we can, or that's yet another way we can cover our planners. Another way I was thinking about was, and this is nice and smooth, I believe this is called Beach. I don't remember the color, but this is the full size. And I have had this rice paper from Stamperia forever, long time. So I am finally going to use some of it, and I think I want to try to just sort of do a collage with this as the background on the front of this particular planner. So I'm going to play around with that. What I've grabbed is some gel medium, matte gel medium, for adhering this down on here. We'll see if that works. We'll find out together. And then I will also use the matte medium to seal the top of it, and then do some collaging on here. All right, here we go. I have it all trimmed how I like it, and I did round these two corners a little bit. So hold your breath. Let's see what happens. The main thing is I don't want this to curl up on me too bad. And I'm just using an inexpensive paintbrush, a nice wide one, to paint a very thin layer of my gel medium on the back. And I'm going to get that out of the way and turn it this way so I can really see. I know I'm out of frame for just a second here, but that's so I can get up here and look down over the top. Looks pretty straight. And I don't want to, I don't want to rub it or press too much, but I do want to make sure, because yeah, see, it wants it'll want to tear on me if I'm not careful. So I'm just kind of going to press it instead of rubbing it. And I can feel that it feels a little, you know, wet and cool through there. So I'm just going to let that dry. And I'm going to take some time to gather some ephemera and some things that I want to collage on here. So I think I'll just go ahead and wait until tomorrow. I'm going to let this sit overnight. Not that that's necessary. I would say just maybe a half an hour to an hour would have been fine. Okay, good morning. This looks beautiful. I am so happy with that. I was so happy when I got up and looked at it that I went ahead and put some on the inside as well. And I might put some back here too. I'm not sure yet, but this is my 2021 planner, by the way. And I thought that I would go ahead and get some things ready. When I first got up this morning, I started going through my goodies, and mainly I went to a collection from My Porch Prints that was all daisies. And so all these postage stamps and wonderful images to make mini albums or collages of all kinds. And I searched for one that had a lot of blue in it. This one was close to a second choice, but I ended up with this one. And while I had all that out, I also cut out a little postage stamp. And I found in my stash of ephemera this tag from Graphic 45, one of the collections, I think Children's Hour, but I already had it cut out. It was blue, perfect. And then I have these two beautiful moths from, let's see, the Graphics Fairy. Okay, so I had those already cut out and ready. And then I stamped this onto some kind of creamy off-white cardstock to kind of match this tag. And I stamped it in blue, so everything's kind of tying together. And what else did I do? Oh, since it's my 2021 planner, this was also from that same collection from My Porch Prints. It had a very nice, just muted light green background to it. And so I did like in the other one, and I cut out the 2021. So I'll show you my plan, and then I'll get it all on here. And we'll see how it looks when it's all done. So I like to bring this around to show where this is going to land and start planning it out. Normally I would grab my phone and take a photo, but I feel pretty good. There's not that many elements here. So here's what I kind of had in mind. First I should really get this up here, and I've been trying to decide whether I want to stay within the rice paper or go beyond it. I kind of like the idea of going beyond it a little bit. It just, to me, my eye, it looks a little better. And I want it kind of flush left over here to balance out this going on down here. So that's what I'm thinking about that. And then I've got my little postage stamp and my stamped clock that I was thinking about kind of sort of covering up a little bit of the 2021. So this is actually where it would have been very helpful for me to take a photo, because I started by adhering this a little too low, and now everything is just a little bit off from where I originally had hoped it would be. So it's bothering me a little bit that this, even though I wanted it to be way up here, that we have this big hole here. So I'm going to bring this down and still let the clock kind of overlap a little bit, but now I feel like something needs to fill in there. So I'm just grabbing these daisies. I'm going to cut them out and see how that looks to kind of balance things out. Okay, so I have decided that I like that up there. It looks pretty. It's starting to fill out a little bit, but this for some reason is still bothering me, this just open blank space. So I am going to stamp something there, and then I'll get all this down. And so I have picked just a round, like postage cancellation kind of stamp, and I don't want it to go over my image over here with the daisies, so I'm just going to mask that off. And I think I will do this in a dark blue ink. Lovely. Oh, that's going to make me happy. I can guarantee it. All right, so let me get the rest of this on here. Okay, and I am done and I am happy. This is how it looks. Very pleased. You can see where that little bit of stamping there helped that open hole quite a bit, at least in my opinion. It was kind of bothering me, so I'm very happy with this. I will go over this after I've let all this ink dry 110%, maybe tomorrow. I will go over this with that gel medium and just seal this all up so it doesn't get torn or smudged or you know, fingerprinted or any of that. So there is definitely a way you can do your cover. And this one, of course, with the fabric and the batting and all that good stuff. And then I found this one. I forgot about this one, and I got up this morning and I thought, oh, I got one more to show you. This was another Sidekick planner that I had stamped in the background with black archival ink. It's like text and splatters and numbers and all that good stuff. And then I fussy cut out some nature elements because this is my nature planner that you may have seen in some of my videos. So I put all those images on there, and when I got up this morning I tried to seal with the gel medium and see was it going to smear any of the ink that I had put around the edges like I was concerned about earlier, and it did not. I sealed the whole front of this thing, so that's good to know. And so we've got 3 there, and then we've got these 2 little guys, and of course the one I directed you to go take a look at where I used Elegance for a little album I made, Ginger, where I used paint and stencils and texture paste and all kinds of stuff. So I hope you had a chance to check that out. And that is it for me today. I hope that you learned something new. I hope you'll try it. It does seem a little scary when you first pick up a blank front of a journal or a planner like that, and you think, oh, I don't want to mess it up. But I mean, as you can see, if you plan things out, lay them around, be happy with it, use the right adhesive, and I think you're going to be just fine. So I hope you give it a try. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a blast. I'm so happy with how these turned out. They're very, very pretty. I will see you very soon in the next video, guys. Thanks again. Bye-bye.